Hi, Peter Balker here, and welcome to today's edition of the Transition Guy. Now, in today's edition, I want to talk about the opportunity for 2021, and most importantly, for VC companies or venture capitalists, 2021 is uber exciting because the amount of opportunity out there is absolutely insane. And the three top areas that I want to look at today that are really exciting VCs right now, number one is new social communities. The pandemic has absolutely transformed the way we communicate overnight. And it's even been so in my business. I mean, for years and years and years, I've been trying to get people over to video. And I've been using video conferencing for the best part of 8 years, proper dedicated video conferencing facilities. And a lot of people will just, no, I'd rather meet you in person. And they will travel an hour and a half each way to come and see me. So you're talking about 3 hours travel plus your 1 hour coaching session. I mean, that's a huge amount of time out of a day. And that time was valuable to them, but they wouldn't shift because they were so used to that face-to-face and they believed that face-to-face was the only way. That's what they did. And the pandemic overnight, when lockdowns happened, we had no choice but to shift. We had no choice but to pivot. And all the things that we took for granted, being able to just go and see people, attend weddings, attend funerals, all these basic things that we've been doing day in, day out throughout our lives was taken away from us. And we had to change, and we had to change quick. And if you look at companies like Zoom absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark. I mean, their ability, and they were by far a non-perfect platform. They were not perfect at all. But the speed at which they were able to correct their issues and actually make their platform secure, safe and easy to use was remarkable. And if you look at it, I mean, governments were holding meetings over Zoom. I mean, that's probably the best marketing they could ever have. So companies like Zoom really took off. Facebook was huge. I mean, Facebook all of a sudden opened up its network. I mean, you were having you were having family birthday events on Facebook. People were having dinner events on Facebook. We were able to collaborate with greater numbers of people over Facebook. New platforms such as Geneva came out, which allowed you to collaborate, combining video, audio, messaging. You had Mural that allowed collaboration for workplaces. Microsoft Teams took off. Menti, a new polling system, came out. There were loads of new innovations. Probably the biggest one to come out was Clubhouse. And that's a whole new social platform. And that was back, they were raising Series A funding of 12 million back in May. Back in May, it had a 100 million valuation. I wouldn't be surprised now the way it's taken off. And I think that in the second week of January, it's got over 6 million users. That's probably hitting north of 100 billion, well, billions, not 100 billion, probably about a billion valuation plus in such a short space of time. So this is where you see VCs really invest in their money. And it's not just in social communities and platforms, it's anything that's online communications. So that's the first area. Second area is education. Never have we seen before educational institutes having to close. Schools closing. I mean, that's been unheard of. Yeah, you may have had 2 weeks where extreme weather has forced a school to close. But it's now been a number of times over the last year. And what that's forcing us to learn differently. And new habits are being formed. And I just wonder, as we come out at the end of this, is traditional schooling, although we're going to go back to traditional schooling, I do sort of fear what is the future for it. Because actually now that we're starting to move towards a more online-based platform, and granted not everyone's got the right domestic, and I'll call it environment for home learning, so that's probably one hurdle that needs to be overcome. But that aside, instead of having one teacher teach a class of maybe 20, you could have one expert teacher teach a class to thousands, but not only that, that class is then recorded and the student can re-watch it. So anything that the student had missed, they can go back over, get better clarity. I'm just wondering whether or not this whole online education arena is really going to allow for deeper, better learning and understanding for students. Of course, there's going to be a degree of fighting against it right now because it's not what we're used to. But a couple of years down the line, it is going to be interesting to see. And so much money right now has been pumped into this space. So stay tuned, because I do think that's going to be one of the biggest growth areas in the next sort of 10 years, or the next decade. And the third one is Commerce 3. Now, contactless payments has been out for a very long time. And I think there's been a lot of adopters of contactless payments, but there's been a lot of people that are used to what they're used to. I mean, people are still using checks today, damn it. Checks, I mean, who writes out a check? But people still do. So people are still using checks. Contactless payments been out, but it hasn't necessarily been 100% adopted. But when you've got the virus and you can no longer type in your PIN or physically get your card out, it's forced everyone to go contactless. And it's amazing how quickly people have embraced the technology, whether it's contactless by tapping your card, whether it's contactless by using your sort of phone, maybe even using your watch, to the point where perhaps people won't want to touch a touchpad anymore. And you're seeing a heap load of development now. It's moving from payments through to the way that we go into a restaurant, we order. Companies are now developing apps, so you don't even have to have the waiter come over or the waitress come over. You just go to your app, type in your table number, select what you want, send it. They'll bring the food over to you. You do your ordering for your app, and then at the end you do payment for your app. I wouldn't be surprised if over the next sort of 2 years the development in artificial intelligence is such that you place an order on your phone at home, let's say for McDonald's for an example, then you drive up to the restaurant, they'll have number plate recognition software, see you coming in, automatically takes your payment, and by the time you drive around to the window, your order's there waiting for you. That's going to be the beauty and the excitement of the development that we're seeing in technology. And so many companies out there right now are investing heavily in that space. And then you've got other areas coming down like health, which is something that Apple is massively investing in. But for VCs in 2021, yeah, online communities, online education, and commerce version 3, I think are going to be the biggest growth areas and the biggest opportunity for VCs. Now, maybe you've seen things out there that I haven't mentioned today. If you've got any other sort of industries that you think are actually going to be huge growth areas, please leave them in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please will you share them with others, subscribe, like, so you don't miss any future episodes. And once again, thank you for tuning into today's episode. I'm glad you've had a lot of value. And remember, failing to learn is learning to fail. So please stay safe. And also, 2021 is going to be an epic year. So just look out for all the opportunities.